My name is Richard Furr, and I can say I am cloud hired.
That yes, come and join and get cloud hired. I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
Hey, Go Cloud Architect family. I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired, guys.
So I'll just say I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired thanks to Go Cloud Architects.
It worked for me, and now I'm cloud hired. Because of Go Cloud Architect program, I am cloud hired. See!
I am cloud hired. Thank you, Mike and the Go Cloud team.
Welcome, everyone. I am Michael Gibbs, the founder and CEO of Go Cloud Careers, and I'm here with David Linthicum, who is a cloud strategist and AI expert, and probably the only person that I know that's got a couple of years being an architect more than me. And today we're going to talk about something that I'm incredibly excited about, our AI architect training program. And we'll talk about all those skills to become an AI architect, and whether you want to become an AI architect and you're doing traditional AI work or you're doing generative AI work, we're going to talk about it and we're going to cover it all. For those of you that know me or don't know me, I'm the CEO of Go Cloud Careers. I've been an everything kind of architect you can think of since early 2000, whether that be a network architect, an enterprise architect, a business architect, and we're here with David Linthicum. I'll let David tell you a little bit about him and his AI experience, but I got to tell you, he is the expert's expert. He's worked with AI since the 1980s. His initial AI work landed him a job at NASA. He's been a chief technology officer. He was Deloitte's head of cloud strategy, and I'm really excited to be here with you. So David, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, Mike, it's great here. I mean, just inspired by your leadership in learning how people can transition to this career, not only just transition through the skills, but get the communication capabilities, the leadership acumen, the ability to be the complete package to be successful in this world. And, you know, I came from a background where very technically oriented, wrote 17 books. I've been doing AI systems, like I said, since 1985, since I was actually 18 years old. And watched this whole market progress, focused on the architecture part of it, wrote dozens of books on architecture, and then really kind of taking those skills and honing it into a one-stop shop set of training that people can take to become a generative AI architect. So someone that's able to is looking at a clear career in architecture, wants to specialize in generative AI. We're going to be able to tell them everything they need to know, including how to communicate, how to get through an interview, where to find the jobs, what the data training is, what the inference training is, how to pick processors, all the soup to nuts details in terms of the bits and bytes and what you need to think about from an architectural point of view, down to the ability to find the right positions, the interview for the right positions, and get to the end state. So I'm really proud that you know, this is focused on all steps. This is not just providing you with tactical capabilities and tactical training. This is everything you need to know if you're going to transition into being an architect, specifically a generative AI architect. And it's a root offshoot of the other training you have online, the cloud architecture training and the IT architecture training, all the other things that you provide. This is additive to that. Obviously, we're in a new world with generative AI kind of leading the fray. And if we're looking for people who want to get out there and help lead these systems development, lead these systems design. And so if that's you, you know, take a look at this training, because right now, I think generative AI architect is probably the hottest position out there. I get calls all the time where they're looking for people who have anything close to the skills. The pay is way up there. And I think the job satisfaction, your ability to get a job that's going to be a lot of fun, as well as pay well, is there as well. So now's the time to take the opportunity to retrain your skills and reposition yourself into this hot part of the market.
Let's talk about how hot it really is. So the global cloud computing market right now is about $460 billion, and that's all cloud providers throughout the world. You know, it's projected that the AI market will be $1.3 trillion by 2032. And, you know, that's almost 3 times the size of our cloud computing market. So think about that opportunity and think about how few people truly understand AI, let alone how to leverage AI, how to use AI to impact business performance, how to design the systems, which is different than building the systems, how to provide transformation, meaning understanding the customer, understanding their vision, understanding their pain points, understanding their goals, be able to craft the strategy to help optimize that business with AI, and then figure out the kind of people you need to manage it, and even creating a governance structure, which is what we do as architects. And that's why architect jobs are, you know, they're so special, because they blend that business and that executive with technology. And there's almost no one out there that can do it. As far as I know, we're one of the few people in the entire world that actually train architects. I mean, real architects, meaning not, you know, how to do engineering work, but how to be architects. And I'm super excited to bring you on for this. You know, one of the reasons we have someone like David is this. Most people, when they try to start their careers, they struggle. And here's why. They either try to self-study, and I love self-study when your fundamentals are good and strong. Like for David and I that have worked for decades, we can self-study something because we already understand the network, the data center, the compute platforms, the GPU platforms. But for normal people, well, they don't know what they don't know. And they take a course that's taught by someone that, you know, yesterday didn't work in AI, and today all of a sudden they're putting AI specialists and they're training people. They don't know what they don't know either. But when someone hears from you, David, they understand. So, you know, talk about what you put into this program, and then we can talk about what I put into this program. But talk about some of the content and some of the things that are part of this program so people understand the meat and the depth.
Yeah, it's everything you need to do to understand the core requirements, to understand the business, to comprehend the business, to deal with the human beings, to deal with the existing systems, the ability to look at an as-is state, not only from the fact of a technical reality, but the business realities, and focusing in on the problem that needs to be solved. You have to remember that this technology is game-changing. Many companies are looking at generative AI to become their key innovative differentiator in the marketplace. So whether they're selling cars or retail organizations or manufacturing tires, their ability to weaponize or leverage generative AI as a force multiplier to get them to the next level. So we're preparing you for those sorts of systems. So in other words, it's understanding the strategy, dealing with boards of directors, dealing with C-level folks, CFOs, CTOs, all these sorts of things, and getting the business right in terms of understanding the problems you're looking to solve before you start getting into the technology discussions. And so then when we get into that, we go through everything. Generative AI is very data oriented, the ability to understand the data resources that are going to be needed, the existing state of the data, the ability to look at the training data, and the ability to provide hygiene to the data, the ability to get at the assets that you need, the ability to take this massive amount of information, which these generative AI systems need to build their inference engines to get to the point of value where we're able to do what we do with Chat GPT. We're able to communicate with it and it's able to tell us things. But instead of telling us things that it learned on the open internet, it's going to tell us things that are relevant to our business. The ability to automate a supply chain using AI capabilities, all these sorts of things, which are hugely valuable in the marketplace. So the nuts and bolts in terms of building the AI system, setting up the inference engines, picking the tools, the ability to look at the governance and security aspects of it, and then also get into the training and retraining of the data, including bias, the ability to eliminate bias in the system, the ability to look for dirty data, the ability to deal with all these things that are kind of rank and file problems in running these things. Then the ability to operate the AI system. In other words, how you need to look at observability tools in a different way, the ability to deal with the new dynamics of security, making sure that the knowledge engines aren't poisoned. I mean, the list really just kind of goes on. And then your ability to deploy the system, including changing the culture, training the individuals in how to use the system, the ability to work with leadership and the stakeholders, the people that actually pay for the whole thing to happen, make sure they're getting communicated to properly. Your ability to figure out how to declare success when you have the first instance of a system that's getting closer to solve the problem, and your ability to put it into an operational state where you continuously improve the thing ongoing. So it's all of the steps and all of the micro steps in between, and also all the insider information in terms of what you normally don't get in other courses, in terms of how you communicate, how you understand cultural issues, how you get through some of the obstacles that you're going to run into as an architect, how you're going to go through the soup to nuts in terms of all the technical details, which is all well and good, but it's only part of the problem. Where you're going to have the executive presence, you're going to have the communication capability, you're going to have the interviewing skills. So you're going to have the ability to be a true technical executive where you're able to deal with human beings, you're able to lead people, you're able to hire people, able to craft organizations, able to create a culture, and do all the things that leaders do, with the added benefit of having the technical understanding of how to build and deploy these systems, which is what's missing. People seem to have one or the other. They have the technical acumen, which is fine, or they have the business acumen without the technical acumen. We're going to teach you both, and your ability to provide both is really going to be your critical success factor. It's a difference between, the best paying job, the most fun jobs out there, the most higher end jobs out there, and your ability to add the most value back to the business. So we're teaching you to be a key individual that businesses can rely upon to build, deploy, maintain, operate, and redeploy and continuously improve their generative AI systems, which is where the value is going to be brought back to the business. Mike just, had a very sobering statistic. This is going to be $1 trillion industry. Everybody's ramping up and spending in this space right now. Look at the stock of NVIDIA with the GPU stuff, and the ability to look at the cloud providers. They're exploding now because people are leveraging their infrastructure to weaponize it for generative AI systems, selling GPU systems. So it's madness. It's a huge gold rush out there and how people are going to leverage this technology. And we're prepared to tell you how to do it successfully, how to be a key contributor to the executive team, and how to find a career that we think is going to be hugely valuable, hugely interesting, and hugely lucrative, which is okay. So I couldn't be more excited about this. This course is needed by the world right now, Mike. They need this course because there's not a lot of people out there understand how to do this correctly. Everybody's moving off in their own individual directions. It's going to take several years for that to mature and normalize unto itself. So people need to figure out one-stop shopping, how to build and deploy this stuff, and that's what this course is.
Yeah, so, and I'm super excited. And we're going to have a webinar on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. My team will drop the link to that if any of you want to join us. It's going to be free. We're going to be on Zoom. David and I are going to present, and we expect to talk and have questions and have a live face-to-face discussion. We want you all to know exactly what it takes to build a good AI architect career. And, you know, most people don't understand what architecture is if they're brand new. They confuse architecture with engineering. They think they're going to go in and start coding systems and configuring systems, and they train for that. But then they go to get hired, and they can't get hired because they don't have the ability to elicit the requirements from the customer. They don't have the ability to be relevant to the C-suite, which are the people that are going to be buying our systems. They don't understand the business problems. And if the whole job of the architect is to solve business problems and people aren't trained in business, they don't know how to solve business problems. And then we get into the situation where McKinsey says 70% of all architectures don't drive transformation. And CIO magazine says that over 50% of cloud architectures are complete disasters, meaning they cost the company money but do nothing. And then people have it in their mind that they're going to design these systems themselves. David, do you design systems yourselves, or you build a team of a large number of people to go build things with you?
I get things done through other smart people. You have to remember, this is a team sport. So if you think you're going to be a single sole architect that's going to be facing these issues, that's not the way it works. So you're going to be leading an architecture team that you may be part of, at least initially, but you may become the leader of at some point. We're preparing you to become both, to do both roles, to become the leader and also a core contributor to those systems. On that team, you're going to have an AI security specialist. You're going to have an AI ethics specialist, which is kind of a new role. You're going to have an AI data specialist and data scientist. You're going to have an operational engineer. You're going to have a AI governance engineer. You're going to have an AI engineer, which actually focuses on the building and blocks of the inference engines and picking the tools and things like that. All of the roles and skills that you need to build a particular system, which is normally going to be a dozen or so people that you're going to have to lead to a productive end state where everybody's doing their job and they're not only making the technology work, but they also work with you to understand their existing business requirements so you get to solve the issues. So we're preparing you to be the quarterback of these things, and they're going to depend on you to drive these teams moving forward. So if your leadership experience you believe is lacking a bit, this is the place to go, because we're going to teach you how to go through the insider training of what it takes to be a good leader, how to hire people, the ability to motivate a team, the ability to change a culture, what to do if things go wrong. You have someone who's on your team that may not be working out, and the ability to motivate them in the right direction, the ability to train the trainers in these organizations, your ability to deal with the legal issues, which there are many in the whole generative AI space, your ability to deal with the ethical issues, which are core coming along with this. Just a whole array of things that you have to be not necessarily drop dead expert in, but understand how that thing works and how it's going to work and play well with the business. So when you come out of this training, you should be able to understand exactly how these teams function, all the roles, the cultural issues, the motivations, you know, what it takes to find people, you know, what it takes to hire people, and also what it takes to build and deploy these systems. You'll find yourself having a duality of role. And I would explain this when I used to interview for jobs over the last 20 years, is that I'm a hybrid person. I have duality. In other words, I'm able to participate as an executive leader and understand the business and motivate a team, hire people, and do all the thing it takes to hire and motivate people to get things done, because a leadership role is going to be part of that team and getting things done with the technology. And also I have understanding of the technology, or I'm able to assist, if not make, a lot of the core decisions on what technology implementations you need to leverage, architectural approaches, the ability to look at the security models and governance models and database models that have to be selected in deploying these systems. And that means working with SMEs or subject matter experts on your team to work with them in deploying these things using whatever technology they're using. So it's really a fun job. And I always love the job of an architect because you're not necessarily focused, as Mike mentioned, you're not an engineer. You're not doing things in the hands-on world. You're not going down into the rabbit hole of how a particular technology works and then focus just on the skills. You understand how everything works and plays well together. So your ability to explain to everybody and anybody, people on the team, stakeholders, things like that, as to how these things work, why they exist, what's the purpose of them, why you made the selection, what the future of this particular technology architecture is, what are things are vulnerable, which things are and need to be repaired and at some other time in the future, and what things are accelerated and where you're taking the whole business to the next level. So it's having those kind of conversations which we're prepping you for. This is not about arguing about different AI inference models or different GPUs versus CPUs. We'll explain what those are, but the thing is, we're not getting into the detail. We're getting into the holistic value that these things are able to bring to the business and how to assemble a technology configuration that's going to return the most value back to the business. You got to remember, that's your role. Your role is as a servant to the business to build and design an architecture that can be implemented that's going to return the most value. It's the most cost effective. It's able to live up to the expectations of the business, is able to take the business to the next level. And that's going to be your core metric. And we talk about that throughout the course. In other words, this is what we're looking at. It's not just making a database run, but making a database run in conjunction with the other piece parts that are coming together to build the system, in this case, a generative AI system, which is going to have core metrics that we can prove as returning value back to the business. And in some ways, I think over the last 20 years ago, we lost our way as that being the core metrics. People just build things and they go, well, it works, and therefore I must be a success. That's not the way to measure success. Your way to measure success is to make sure we're building a system that's most optimized to solve the problems at hand that we just defined, and the ability to prove that we're able to return the maximum amount of value back to the business. If you can't say that, then you miss something and you need to go back and fix it. But that's why architects exist. They exist as technology executives that are able to monitor the configuration of technology that's going to maximize the amount of business value that's returned. We're just taking that to the point where we're building and deploying generative AI systems. So many of the same architectural ideas, methodologies, infrastructures are going to be in this area as well. So it's a different way of doing architecture. A lot of the same rules apply. But make no mistake, as Mike just mentioned, you're going to be leading a team of people. You're going to be a leader in the organization. You're going to be an executive in the organization. If not with your initial job, most people can't get those jobs first time, but your ability to work your way up through the team to get to those positions, then that's what we're preparing you for.
I want to talk about that, but if I told you we got 9 people jobs in the last 2 weeks, and it's super exciting, and many of them were architect jobs as a first-time job. I actually got this message I want to share because I do this for one reason. I love it when people get hired. And it's one thing to pass the test, and it's another thing to get hired. Here's a message that I got from one of my students the other day. I'll read it. Hi, Mike. I hope you're doing well. Just want to express my sincere gratitude for your mentorship program. It's been life-changing. Thanks to your guidance, I've interviewed for 9 jobs and landed 7 offers for roles like network architect, network security engineer, senior cybersecurity architect, including 4 contracts with the federal and state government and a major aerospace company. Would love to chat about it. It's all just about choice now. And he and I spoke, and he's one of those 9 people that we got hired. But that's the key. And why are we so good at it? Because we understand what employers need. We understand what employers want. I've asked thousands of them over the years. Plus, I'm a hiring manager. David's a hiring manager. So we know what we need. And we know how to look at it from the hiring manager perspective. And that's really the secret. The key is that we're here. Now, we're talking about our Generative AI Architect program. But the point is our specialty at Go Cloud Careers is getting people hired. building those business skills, building those leadership skills, building that executive presence, building that brand building. And, you know, we have 2 PhD business school professors that I'll help teach in this program on Fridays for the business acumen. We've got 3 MBAs on our team. We bring in other architects on Friday to focus on these business skills that you're there. And then we've got David focused on this AI, and he's got more than 30 years experience in this. So when you learn from the best, and when you learn from the people that have been there, that have been chief technology officers, which, oh, by the way, is an architect job, right, David?
Right.
A CIO is an architect job, a CTO is an architect job. And when you've got a head of cloud strategy at Deloitte, where pretty much every architecture, I'm assuming you did for every major bank, had some AI in it too, right?
Yeah, pretty much worked on AI for the last 5 years exclusively.
And so, you know, that's why with this new program that we're launching, and we're launching with David, I picked him because he is, you know, one of the foremost experts in the field in AI. He knows it. He's been there. He's done it. And that's what's so exciting to me. We're not bringing you someone that learned about AI yesterday. You know, here's what I learned in my networking career, which is really one of the things that I've loved. I started my networking career, I took a CCNA exam. By the time I was done reading that 1,000 pages, I thought I knew something about networking. I thought. And then I did the Cisco Certified Network Professional. Okay, that was about 5,000 pages of reading. And then I realized I didn't know as much as I thought I did, that it was probably scarier. Then I did that 75,000 page reading, Cisco Certified Internet Expert. 20 years of people taking the exam, there's only 60,000 of us, or 65,000, because it's got a 90+% failure rate. And it cost about $20,000 to prepare for the exam. When I finished that, I realized I didn't know anything in that grand scheme of things. And it takes 10,000 hours in an area to become an expert. That's 5 years full time. David's got more than 30 years there. So he's seen the mistakes that people made, have I made. He's seen them when they take a tech-driven approach and knows why it needs to be a business approach, and he knows how to solve these problems. And here's one of the other reasons I'm so excited about architecture careers. AI doesn't hurt us. AI gives us more jobs. Look, AI can write code, but we architects don't code anyway. AI can write a Terraform script. Fine, we architects don't write a Terraform script anyway. AI can write a bash shell script in Linux, but AI can't meet with that client. They can't find their business goals, their business pain points. AI can't understand that organization's business processes and how that organization works and help tune it. AI can't go to the department heads and other key stakeholders and find their needs and manage them and get their buy-in. AI is not going to go build the business case that's going to analyze that organization's problems and then show them how it's going to work. AI is not going to take that client golfing, not going to take them to a football game, not going to take them to dinner and drinks to build relationships. AI is not going to build and lead a team of people that are going to be there. So in a world of AI, this just gives us more and more and more and more job opportunities as architects. We can't use AI to design our architecture because what problem is it going to solve? Is it going to give me something for Joey's company versus Sally's company? Sally's company and Joey's company have 2 different businesses. They have 2 different business goals, 2 different pain points, and 2 different sets of problems. So it's pretty exciting for me. Actually, I'm so excited about AI. Can you give me a hashtag AI architect in all the platforms? I just love watching that come in. I just love AI and I love AI architecture. So, you know, David, I absolutely love what you've done. How many books have you written over the years, David?
17.
17, and they're all pretty much bestsellers, right?
Yeah, most of them did pretty well. The best one's behind me. That's the EAI book I wrote back in the 90s, but they're all doing pretty well. The Insider's Guide to Cloud Computing I published last year. It's going into its 2nd or 3rd printing right now. So happy to get them out there. But it's also a great time to be in this business because the multitude of media exists to get the message out there. And just like we're employing this now, and the ability to have written media, podcasting, which I do with my podcasting rig behind us, but it just all kinds of ways to get the message out there and to get the training in place. And I think that the ability to deliver this course is exactly what the market needs. A combination of interactive training where you're one-on-one, you're talking with a human being, and the ability to look at the videos and the other contents and work through the project yourself and go off with the assigned reading and all these sorts of things is going to be different than what most training is. It's basically one and done. They show you a video for 40 minutes and you go off with a basic understanding of what a particular product is able to do, but not an understanding in terms of how you deal with it as an architect. So this is the great time to be alive in the technology field. This is going to be a huge amount of transfer. This is going to be a huge land grab that occurs in the next 5 years. And we're right at the cusp with launching lots of people who can take advantage of this gold rush to take their careers to the next level and really kind of find a job you can be passionate about and have a great time. There's nothing that I like better than working with a team to solve a business problem using technology, because you just see the impact that it's going to have and your ability to bring things back to the business that it once didn't have before. AI is going to be that taken to the next level. It's going to be a force multiplier beyond force multipliers, because it's able to become an innovative differentiator for the particular business, where the business can actually build their next generation around this AI platform. And so if you think about it, everything's going to change. The way we interact with customers is going to change. The way we deal with cars and trucks and driverless technology, the way we deal with automated logistics, and for the better. I think a lot of this stuff can be annoying. You can't overuse AI. But I think of the fact that we're able to take these organizations, provide better customer experiences, cheaper prices, better productivity. And once these organizations figure out that the automation and the AI capabilities are what has taken it to the next level, other organizations are going to follow suit. So when I say it's a gold rush, it really is a gold rush. And it's not just building and automating systems. We did that 30, 40 years ago. It's your ability to take the data that we have within the business and turn it into a true force multiplier for the business. We're able to take and understand the patterns of the information that allow us to create business processes and automated business processes that really make the business something much better than it currently is. And that's all aspects of it. The employees will understand it, the customers will understand it, the market will understand it. And once we start seeing these productive benefits, and we're going to see articles written about it, things like that, we're already seeing prototype systems that are changing the game. Everybody's going to realize the fact that that is really what's becoming the business. It doesn't matter if you're manufacturing tires or manufacturing cars, or you're selling stuff in a retail store, or you're, operating a vacation rental business, whatever. Your ability to leverage the technology in new and innovative ways is what's going to separate you apart. And those are the businesses going to take things to the next level. There's a reason Uber's an Uber. There's a reason Netflix is a Netflix. It's because they figured out how to leverage technology as a true force multiplier to provide a better customer experience and more value in the minds of the customers, and got a larger position share. We'll take that to pharmaceuticals, take that to banking, take that to retail organizations. And at the center of all those things is the weaponization of AI, not necessarily used as a weapon, but something that's going to actually build the business and take the business to the next level. So that's why there's so much focus on it now. You look at the mad rush into AI-based cloud computing, the ability to buy GPU systems, putting a lot of this stuff on premise, edge-based systems, bringing AI to the edge in our appliances and things like that. That's going to be a transformation that can't occur overnight. That's going to occur over the next 5 to 10 years. And right now, there's a pent-up demand of people who have just an inkling of how to assemble and build these systems, how to build the databases, and how to build the inference engines, how to build the training systems, constantly improve it, how to apply the right security parameters, all these sorts of things. We're missing those skills. Like I said, people are desperate now to find people with AI capabilities, not just understanding how a particular tool instance works, but understanding how all this stuff comes together, and is someone that's going to be able to be hired by an organization that's going to help them find kind of a technology Sherpa that's going to get to a much better state where AI is functionally becoming the business. The AI system that they're building is functionally becoming the business. And by the way, we went through this kind of a automation 30, 40 years ago, but this is something different. This is key capabilities. Instead of just automating things we normally did on paper, using automated programs and writing programs to do things in databases to store stuff versus putting in a filing cabinet and all those sorts of things. This is about the ability to take the information they already have available to us and to consume the information in different ways, to process the information in different ways, to combine it with other knowledge bases, and the ability to predict the future, the ability to understand where the market is moving into, your ability to build products ahead of demand. We were able to align demand 100% with 100% accuracy, which isn't done these days. And it's all these really cool things. It's really very much science fiction that we're going to see coming in the short term, which is really what's getting me up in the morning and everybody else that's in this industry up in the morning. And all we need, and this is an ask of everybody who's on this show, is someone who's able to understand enough to help the business move to that ultimate goal. We're missing those people now. If you want to become that person, I urge you to do so, because let me tell you, it's the best job you'll ever have.
Yeah, and I want to clarify a couple of things, and then something David said to make sure everybody understands it. First, I was going to say this training is live training. You know, David's recorded a stack of long videos that are deep. We have a library of videos in the business thing, but we have classes live 3 days a week on Zoom, and we have to do it live. Because if it's not live, you're not going to interact. You're not going to be building or designing architecture projects together. You're not going to have someone give you feedback. You're not going to be able to present your case and get coached on it from an executive presence and a presentation skills. It's live, supplemented by videos. And, you know, we cover in the data center. We cover in the cloud because it really doesn't matter to us. We cover networking. We cover security. We even have some architecture framework training to make sure we're driving transformation. So this is live. And, you know, we'll have MBA business school professors teaching business acumen, business executives, marketing executives, and other architects come in as well, because we want you to get the whole picture. This is holistic. But I want to clarify, when David says build these systems or configure these systems, and he can, I'll have him answer it afterwards. He's not talking about being the person behind the desk that's configuring these things.
That's right.
He's talking about, how do I design that system? Meaning, if what do I need? For example, let's say we're designing a demilitarized zone for a web app. Do I need a network load balancer to front end 2 next generation firewalls? Maybe we need a network load balancer in front of an IDS IPS systems. Maybe we need an access packet control filter. He's talking about that. He's talking about the configuration of what it needs to be, the components that we need to put together to build that perfect recipe, not going in there and configuring. That's the job of engineers, right, David?
That's absolutely right. Yeah. When I was talking about configuring, you're configuring it logically. So in other words, it goes together in your mind, and you got to, and the people who do the physical implementation of that logical configuration are the ones who do the hands-on training. But as an architect, we're there to design things in the wide and also things in abstraction. So in other words, we're creating a logical understanding of what the system is. That means without any assigning any physical technology to it. We understand how it's put together. Therefore, we don't have the limitations and the drawbacks of the physical technology that's out there. We're not having the whole AWS versus Microsoft argument. And once we have that together, which is going to meet the business requirements, then we're able to assign the particular technologies to it. And it's that process that I think is missing out there. People have a tendency to lead with the technology and become too much down in the weeds. So when I say configure, this is about us configuring things logically, the ability to design things in the abstract before we actually do the physical implementations. There's other great people who have the skills to do the physical implementations. That can't be you, because you can't focus on 2 areas. You have to focus on the abstract solutions, the ability to bring together technology, your ability to understand the business issues. And once you do that, by the way, the actual physical implementation and deployment of the technology is just a process, just an end state. It's probably the easiest part of the equation. What's happening today is people have a tendency to skip the logical architecture and the logical configuration of the system and go right to the physical implementation, just because they haven't been taught any better. And they end up having solutions that are hugely under optimized, if not dysfunctional, to a point where they're, burning 10 times the resources, and they're missing the business problems being solved, things like that. And that's where businesses are going wrong. And if you look at why those things existed and why they built something like that, it's because they didn't have the architect in place that was providing the leadership and the design capabilities and looking at this stuff in the abstract before they looked at the physical implementation to it. Someone went to a conference and came back with a bunch of ideas, decided to focus on a particular technology, and decided to do an architecture based on that technology, not looking at the larger issues. Well, almost 99 times out of 100, that's probably going to be, I would say even more than that, that's not going to be the optimal solution for you. You're going to end up making mistakes. So this is about putting the discipline back into doing the logical thinking that has to occur before you start picking the technology. And Mike's absolutely right. This is not an engineering job. We're not teaching you engineering. I say that in the course. I'm teaching you how to design, how to understand, how to interact, how to create relationships within your team, how your ability to deal with the stakeholders, your ability to understand the business, your ability to do a business case, all these sorts of things, which lead you into the logical configuration of technology ideas and technology concepts, which will lead you into a physical implementation or actually picking the technology that we're looking to implement. So this is about those three major steps where two of them are normally missing. They're not understanding the requirements. They're not setting up a good relationship with the stakeholders. They're not doing the logical abstract configuration of the concepts that needed to be figured out. They're just going directly to the physical implementation and then using the metric as it works as the ability to declare success or failure. And I'm fixing these systems all the time because they weren't well thought out. They weren't well planned. Normally, it's the exact wrong solution. They're not addressing the business problem. And it ends up wasting a tremendous amount of money and even distracting the business. I think people who do that, there's going to be larger consequences to pay, because if you go directly to the wrong solution, which is hugely under optimized, then you could end up killing your business, because you got to remember, we just talked about that. Your business is going to be dependent on this thing taking the whole business to the next level. So if that doesn't work, there may not be too many other bites of the apple to hit the reset key and try to go back and start again and go back and start again. So this is absolutely an imperative that these people exist, that these generative AI architects exist that are able to mesh all these things together and make them work. And they're ultimately responsible for the ability for that particular solution to return value back to the business. I'm not looking at the AI engineers and the data engineers. I'm going directly to the architect to get the answers as to why those decisions were made, what those decisions are doing, what was thought out, what kind of metrics of understanding did you use, what framework do you have, how are you dealing with data hygiene approaches and all these sorts of things, not the physical data, but how you're dealing with these things conceptually. And there has to be a sound understanding of how those things are coming together conceptually before you write a line of code or, buy a cloud service or buy a piece of hardware. And that, I think, is what's missing largely out there. And so we're seeing more failures. I just read this thing from, I think it was McKinsey, where 80% of cloud projects fail. And if you look at the postmortem on many of those, that's why they failed. They went directly to a particular technology solution versus understanding the problems they're looking to solve. I guarantee you they got something running, which is not a hard thing to do. But as far as understanding how to map that back into the business problem and the ability to show metrics of success to the stakeholders there, that's why they failed. And so they ended up getting their budget pulled because they weren't returning the value back to the business that the stakeholders thought they were going to be returning. And that's going to be a failed project. You're not going to be able to do many of those without killing the business. And certainly the amount of money that's going into the investment in this and their ability to kind of take the business to the next level, this is not going to be something you can iterate through it. It's not like like the cloud adoption that occurred back in 2010, 2011, where you're making mistakes. This is going to be something that's going to be many, many millions of dollars in the investment. It's going to take a lot of time before you get to the error state. So your ability to do this right the first time has more impact than people know. This is not going to be a minor mistake. This is going to be a major mistake. And so you have to get people in control of the system, very much like a pilot of the airplane, that know how to steer and direct the things and get it right the first time. And you can get it right the first time. If you follow all the steps that I have in the course, it'll get you to a successful end state. If you skip anything, you skip the data, you skip the security, you skip the governance, those sorts of things, it's not going to be as optimized as it possibly can. But running directly to the technology, like everybody seems doing, is going to be a huge, huge error that in many instances isn't going to be fixable. So don't be that person. Be the person that can take us through the entire scenario, can explain the entire scenario, can get the team up and running, the culture up and running, and the ability to prepare the business to be successful. It's those kinds of leaders that we need right now. There's a huge void in people who understand how to make all these things work and play well together. And we have people who are hugely technical and people who are, more sales oriented, things like that. We need both. We need the ability to bring these duality of skills, duality of patterns, so we can take things to the next level. And it's not a hands-on job, but it's probably more important than any hands-on job that exists in IT moving forward. And I'll stand behind that statement.
And I agree. This is the most important job, because if we design systems that hurt the business, what's the point? It's better to do nothing than put in the wrong systems. I'm going to end on this, and then we're going to go to questions. This is a planning job. This is a meeting. This is a governance job. This is a strategy job. How many architectures do you work on that take at least 6 months to design?
The majority of them.
Yeah. The majority of them, the majority of the architectures I do take 6 months to design. So give a little bit about the program, and let's go to questions. A couple special things about this program. You buy the course, and you get a year in the live training, not that you need it. And you can continue to stay in the rest of the program, the online piece, until the day you are hired. And that's special to all of our programs. Nobody gets kicked out because they've been in there for 6 months and we say, get out of here. People stay in the program. Each new time we run a new class, the new class is added to the dashboard, and they stay in there until they are hired. 3 live classes per week. David is going to teach 2 of them, and they're going to be awesome on AI. Our team, meaning our executives or me, a lot of times it's me, will teach those Friday leadership classes. So there's that. We've got an incredible library of cloud, networking, data center, and security components that go into this, in addition to the AI components that they've brought there. And here's the reason why. It's either going to be housed in a cloud or a data center, and all a cloud is somebody else's data center. So you have to understand that. Whether that be networking, security, it's there. There's training on AWS, there's training on Azure. In addition, we've got all the business training you need, all the sales skills training, the branding training, how to optimize your resume, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, how to get people to come to you so you don't even need to apply for jobs in the first place, how to sell, how to develop your CXO relevancy. It's all there. And, we get people hired every day. Our graduates are working at Apple, Amazon, Cisco, IBM, Microsoft, Google, Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG, Capgemini, Palo Alto Systems. I had a graduate that I trained that was working at Zscaler, for example. JP Morgan Chase, Barclays Bank, the best of the best. So I'm ready for questions. If you're ready for questions, David.
Bring it on.
And we also have a webinar on Thursday. It's going to be completely free. I'd love you to join. And a free document on getting your AI job. That's, again, we can drop that into the chat box because it's all free. Can't wait to see you. So bring the questions to us. Don't be shy. Can you use AI to architect the AI for me? Absolutely not. AI can't go to the client, can't find out their business goals, can't find their pain points, can't find their challenges, can't build the team, can't lead the team, can't sell it, can't manage the stakeholders, can't manage the vendors. It can't do any of it. So we are super safe as architects in the world of AI.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. I actually wrote a blog about that last year because people were concerned about AI replacing the cloud architecture position. Even if you ask the AI systems, it'll tell you that it can't because the amount of acumen and talent that kind of goes into these jobs. So obviously it can operate as a tactical tool, and we're all using those today to a productive end, and we're not discouraging you from using those tools. But it's something that can't be creative and innovative. And that's kind of the core position of this job, your ability to have an understanding of knowledge and create something that's not there. And that's something AI doesn't do. AI learns from existing data and then regurgitates the patterns that it understands from the data. And the architects don't do that. They have to create net new solutions based on the information. Mike just hit the nail on the head. You got to communicate with people. You got to communicate with teams. You got to hire people. You got to get money. All these sorts of things that AI won't help you out in. So, David, what would the practical exercise look like in the program? Will examples, periodicals focus on a particular industry, focus or focus broadly? Great question, and they're really both. Go through case studies at the end of each of the sections, and obviously different industries are highlighted. And also, you got to remember that there's a lot of industry-specific things to consider when you deal with AI architecture. So we're going to talk about both levels, both in the live training as well as in the videos. We talk about particular areas, certainly finance and healthcare and retail, things like that. I'll walk you through some case studies on how to consider those particular industries. We'll talk about industry-specific AI. There's lots of LLMs that are built out there directly for a finance industry or a retail industry that you're able to leverage and reuse those knowledge within the systems that you're building. So we'll get into all that very stuff. We'll talk about AI in the wide, in other words, how it fits into a broader pattern of business, but also AI in the narrow, how it fits in a particular industry like finance and banks and healthcare and transportation and all those sorts of things. And that's really where it gets interesting, by the way.
Chris, we can go to the next one. So just a quick question, Mike, how much does the AI Architect cost and how long? So it is a pre-launch architect program right now. And because it's pre-launch, we're giving everyone 50% off. This will end in May when the program goes live, but we're giving 50% off, and that applies to single purchases, single price purchases, and if it's a payment plan, that discount will apply to every single payment. How long is the duration of this course? Until you are hired. You'll have a year in the live training, but you will continue to be able to be part of our community until the day you land your architect job. And we should say, guesstimate is 8 to 12 months, but here's the thing. We all learn at different speeds. We all have different strengths. Some people struggle to get that presentation and they got to hang around a little bit longer to get those presentation skills. That's okay. Some people struggle with the tech. They take a little longer. That's okay. I have a concern, but you guys get hired. Did you guys get a job that pays you a lot? That means that money is no longer a concern for you. That money is just a tool that enables you to get what you need to take care of your family. That's my goal for you guys.
Well, thank you.
Bob, yes, I'd agree that everything that David does is amazing, and that's why I asked him to work with us on this. And Bob, it was really fun working with you if you're Bob, who I think you are, and it was great when you got your first cloud security architect job.
Congratulations.
Capano, once you join the program, how long will it take for you to grasp the material and be job ready? Campano, I don't know how fast you learn. I also don't know how good you are in front of audiences. So I'm going to say it should take about 8 to 12 months on average. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's about right. And you're going to have to learn at your own speed. And Mike's exactly right. The course is not set up to push everybody into some sort of a narrow set of processes that are time constrained. No one likes to learn that way. So people are going to be faster learners. They like to learn with the videos, not necessarily with the one-on-one interaction. Some people learn with the one-on-one interaction faster than the videos. And so just stick with it until you get to a point where we're going to be able to assign you to, or we're going to be able to say that you have the necessary skills to go off there and get employed. And that's your metric. In other words, it's not just, getting a skill and certificate. Your end state here is getting a job in the particular field that you're in. The speed in which you want to do that and how you do that is completely up to you and your capabilities. And I think that the ability to learn at your own pace is going to be critical to success. If we put a deadline on everything, I think people are going to find that overly stressful and not necessarily productive. So do what you need. We're going to have fast learners, slow learners, but the slow learners over the fast learners doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be bad architects. That just means they're methodically looking at stuff, getting to the details. And in some instances, I like the slow learners better because they're taking their time to understand as much as they can at the pace they can absorb it. And so everybody works at their own pace. This is no different.
already enrolled in the EA and the Cloud Architect and Enterprise Architect program, does this program interlock with the Enterprise Architect program? In some ways, because all architects truly do need to understand how to understand the business, how to create a strategy, how to lead people, how to sell, how to present, how to understand business processes. So it's that. But this is specifically related to AI architecture versus enterprise architecture. So you could look at enterprise architecture kind of at the top, meaning the most business oriented, the least technical of the bunch. And then under that, you're going to have your specialty architects, your AI architects, your cloud architects, your network architects, your big data architects, your IAM architects, and other specialties. So I hope it's that. And also, you know, for our internal students that are part of our programs, Chris from our team will send out something on Slack specifically for you, internal students that may be interested in adding this to your program. Tristan, David's books and training content are always awesome. I agree with you. The fact that he's involved in this program, I believe it puts it at a uniquely whole level. That's why David's here with us.
Well, it's an honor to be working with Mike. I've been a fan from afar, and what attracted me to working with this organization is the fact that the students are just beyond happy with the outcome of the training, which I think is a core metric. And so that's why we decided to work together. And I couldn't be more happy to be here, and I think we complement each other.
And I couldn't be more happier that David is doing this program with us. He's a wealth of experience. He's a wealth of knowledge. Together, we have almost 60 years architect experience. And, you know, we want you to use that experience to help you, you know, get the best career. Okay, so on Thursday, we've got our free How to Become a Generative AI Architect webinar. We will go over the role, which we both love because we've been architects forever. We'll talk about what we do. We'll talk about every one of the skills that are absolutely necessary for you to get there. You know, and how to do it. It will be live. You'll come off mute and ask questions. If you want us to assess you, we can do it. We can assess your communication skills, presentation skills, baseline knowledge. It's on Zoom, and that's why we do it. And at the end of this, you will be prepared to work. You'll be hireable. You'll have a brand. People, in most cases, will come to you. And that's really the key, is getting others to know you and come to you. It's a big difference than applying and being auto-rejected when the world comes to you and seeks you out. David gets calls every single day. Hey, could you help us with this issue? Are you interested in a job? I get calls every single day. I only applied for my first job. And I accidentally applied to Cisco, which I worked. And what I mean by accidentally applied, I'd been in Dubai for 29 days straight per month, going back and forth for a couple of days. And I bought a new Mac for my house, and my wife filled in an application for Cisco, and I got called about it. Otherwise, I never applied for a job except for that first one. I call a recruiter, or people come to me, and that's the kind of way we want to build you up so the world knows your name. So join us Thursday for the completely free webinar. Download that completely free guide, and this is a program that will change your life. I promise you, if you do this and you do all the work, you will learn more than you've ever understood, knew in your entire life. It will change your interpersonal relationships because of the communication skills and leadership skills and the emotional intelligence training. It will teach you business so you can design systems that absolutely help solve your clients' problems, which will get you a reputation to be known and seen as an industry expert. And you'll be prepared for AI architect jobs, not AI engineer jobs, AI architect jobs. An engineer and an architect might as well be like a bird and a cat, two beautiful animals that are completely different. But you'll be ready and prepared for an AI architect role that will be life-changing for you. So join us on the webinar on Thursday. Get the completely free guide on how to become an AI architect. And David, do you have any other things you'd like to discuss?
No, I couldn't be more excited, Mike. I mean, this is really taking everything to the next level. This course is absolutely on time, ready for the massive movement to generative AI. We need to prepare an army of people to go out there and help them build it. And I'm happy to be part of that process.
That's right. We need to build an army. But we don't just create soldiers that go cloud careers. We create SEALs and SEAL teams, the best of the best that are in the most demand, that can command a paycheck that's great. So see you on Thursday for the completely free webinar. My team will give you that link for the free webinar again in there. Get that completely free guide and join us in this program. So not only will you have a great career, but you'll love what you learn. Can't wait to see you on Thursday, everyone. Take care, everyone.